We are Steve and Jill.
Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show,
We answer that and more. I'm Steve and Jack Butala.
and I'm Jill DeWit, and this is the Land Academy Show.
This is episode number 2201. Jill and I today are talking about the difference between fast money and wealth building, specifically in real estate.
Mm-hmm.
These two things, you have to have a plan for both. I would highly recommend that you have a plan as early as possible in your life for making some good dough, fast dough.
I kind of like this.
And creating wealth with some of that fast dough.
We'll explain it because I'm sure everybody's like, well, how fast is fast? So we'll get into this here in a few minutes, so you know what we're talking about. This isn't like overnight. We're not day trading. That's not what we're talking about.
But my point is, please have a plan.
Yeah,
And that needs to address both of those.
I agree.
Most people have a long-term plan, like a 401k. They plan on, whether they know it or not, they're planning to work till a certain day in their life. We'll get into that in a second.
Yeah, or a certain dollar amount. That's what I think in our world is more likely.
Right.
When I hit this financial goal, now I'm going to make some different decisions.
Each day on the show, we answer a question from our Land Academy member Discord forum, and we take a deep dive into land-related topics by your popular requests.
Okay, Ben wrote, "Hi folks, we're getting calls back from our mailer to Florida. Most of the people calling back have properties in a floodplain. No kidding, because Florida is a floodplain. 90%, I would say. I don't know. It's a lot. Is it an automatic no-go for these properties in your experience? Is there a creative way to make these deals work? Also, a lot of the lots in Parcel Fact don't look like they have access directly from a road. Is it possible they have deeded legal access, but is not having direct road access a huge deal as well? Please advise. We have several people waiting to hear back. Thanks." Can I talk about two things right off the top?
For sure.
Okay. So one is Florida. Yes, there's two common things that happened in Florida. I can't explain why. I don't know. I guess it was the sign of the times. But one of them is flood, right? That's a real thing. You know, there's a lot of places in the South, like New Orleans, for example, too, that, you know, just that land, the most of it is, you know, below sea level. You have to account for stuff like that. There's wetlands and things like that you have to watch out for. Some of it you can build upon, some of it you cannot. A lot of that, when you build upon it, you still have to make some improvements. It has to be above X amount of inches, or gosh, there's amazing, I love watching these HGTV shows when they're like buying lakefront property shows where it's a full 10 to 15 feet that they have to build up, or everybody just parks their cars under there or makes it a rec area, and then the house is way up high. So it's stuff like that. So it could be inches, it could be feet, it could be a whole story that you have to build above, and then you can put your house up there, because otherwise you won't get insurance, because water could go under there. So that's one thing. And then the second thing is, which is I was referring to, the sign of the times, which I want to say was it 60s, 70s, when they did all these paper subdivisions and things
50s, yeah.
Okay. So really in the 50s that people would buy a piece of land and they didn't have to put in any infrastructure. They could pretty much kind of draw in roads and where it would go and just start selling lots. And it never, ever got built out. So you want to be careful of that.
It never will.
Exactly. Continue.
So what Ben's really saying when I'm reading between the lines here is, you know, I mailed Florida. Mm-hmm. Properties are coming back. It's not passing the A's.
Right.
We're veering kind of far. The most recent Land Academy crew is, and I like the velocity and their attitude, but they're not going through the program that maybe the way they should, or listening to the Thursday call, or even listening to the show, because we have places. Jill and I have spent decades putting together a program based on our experience where each one of these things are addressed if you just take them step by step. So Ben sent the deal out here, a mailer out, and he's getting properties back that aren't qualifying from a due diligence standpoint that we have summarized as the 8 A's. Number one, properties don't have any access. Very common in Florida, like Jill just said. somebody went and we call them paper subdivisions. They took a huge piece of paper, drew squares on it, and then subdivided it and filed for new assessor parcel numbers in the 50s and 60s. Those properties generally have very low value, and we avoid sending mail there. We check that out before we decide to send the mail out at all. Number two, Florida is one big wetland. I don't care how you slice it. There's a few exceptions. So wet property in Florida is normal. Wet property in Nevada is crazy not normal. It's the exact opposite.
Right.
And so you have to do the research on what's wet, how is it wet. There's lots of different types of wetlands. It's very complicated. And the truth is, Jill and I are not wetlands experts by choice. We do not we don't buy and sell real estate in an area that we believe is wet. There are only a few places in the country. She named two of them, Louisiana and Florida, southern Louisiana and Florida.
We have done deals. I would do deals with other people that know the area really well, or it takes a little extra time.
Correct.
That's the whole thing.
So that said, yesterday we talked about niches. Well, Florida's a niche, and there are people in our group that make tons and tons of money buying and selling land in Florida because they grew up there. They understand real estate. They spent a few years getting to know what places are the best to sell or not to sell. And so, Ben, I love your enthusiasm, but I think you should just do a bunch of spend up, I don't know, 2 or 3 days, call it around, or however you do research to check out what's going on in Florida.
Well, here's what's going to happen, Ben. In reality, go down the path. You just got 4 calls, and it's in such and such subdivision. Let's just say, go down the path, find out what's possible there, what the building restrictions are. Is there any real access? Is there any chance to really build? That'll be 1 phone call to the county. Now you know any other person that's going to call you like, hey, I've got a property in fill in the blank subdivision. You're going to go, shucks, and just cut them off right there. So you're not wasting anybody's time. So, and that's okay. It's all a learning process.
Absolutely.
No problem.
Correct.
This is not anything you did, I screwed it all up, failed mailer. Who cares? You might still get something out of this.
Yeah.
If you did what we, suggest you do, mail out a bunch of things in a county, maybe there's some little pockets in here that you're going to get something great out of it, and that'll pay for the mailer. So don't feel bad.
Florida's going, as an aside, and then we'll move on to the topic. Florida is going through what will end up being, mark my words, one of the largest real estate changes that will define this decade. This century. They're having huge, over and over and over again, climate issues.
True.
The insurance companies are pulling out, and everybody wants to move there. So we have a huge influx of people that have been moving there since the 50s, 40s and 50s, really since air conditioning. And it's a great place to be, and it's a great place to live, and it's beautiful.
Right.
I've been there many times. I don't know if you have. Been there many times?
I have been there many times. Thank you.
And so, but the insurance companies are having a harder time justifying flood potential and natural disaster potential, especially because values are skyrocketing and everybody wants to move there. Mm-hmm. So please watch that. I'm not saying don't send mail there. I'm just saying if you're interested in real estate as a topic in the world, please watch what happens in Florida and in Southern California. Both of those places are experiencing things that are turning insurance companies completely away. It's not how much does it cost to insure my house. The answer is
can you get it?
No,
There's
I'm not.
Companies pulling out.
We no longer insure houses in Southern Florida.
So there you go. I just went to Key West.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right.
Thank you. So, okay.
Today's topic: the difference between fast money and wealth. Jill, I feel it. I feel that you have things to say on this topic.
Well, first I want to explain it. Fast money is not day trading. That's not what we're talking about. I'm talking fast money would be 30, 60, 90 days turnaround, cash in, cash out. I would classify that as fast. And then wealth building is the long play. But what's funny is this is an interesting topic because we could take this a bunch of different directions because it kind of depends on where you are in your career, I think, and your financial situation is how you make these decisions. So I'm thinking of this right now because we are constantly going through this. I want to say like every 3 to 5 years, you and I have conversations like this, and we're looking at, our total cash balance. We're looking at what assets we have out there, including personal ones, mostly personal ones. Let's just say this. The only thing that I have in play is really right now, pretty much a personal asset. There's a reason for it. Not as much the long-term rental game. Why? Because I can't make money as fast that way as I can in other things. So we put it back in. So it's so interesting. And that ties to whatever we talked about. I think that was on Monday we talked about. So what are you thinking you want to?
So there's two ways on this planet that I know of for creating equity or making real money. Mm-hmm. Number one, you become an acquisition expert, which is what Jill and I have chosen. It's what we teach at Land Academy. Said another way, we buy stuff under its value for as is, where is condition. We buy a piece of land for 20 grand, but we know it's worth $80,000. Why? Because we're acquisition experts. Number two, you create equity by buying an asset, hopefully undervalued, but you buy an asset and you improve it somehow. You buy a bunch of components from suppliers, you put them all together. Now you've got a Samsung television, and you sell that TV for more money or more value than the sum of those parts altogether. So that's the two huge ways, basic ways of creating equity. How fast in buying them under value is imperative in both scenarios. How you liquidate those is the topic today.
True.
You're either going to resell it fast, usually for less money, or you're going to build some type of entity around creating equity, like Samsung did about televisions, and you're in for the long haul. And then there's branding and all kinds of things that can happen for generations after generations. For real estate, a great difference is buy a piece of land for 20 or 30 grand, sell it for 80,000, or buy a rental house. Maybe paint it, put some carpet in, and rent it out, and then deal with that. However you deal with that from a management standpoint. Those are the real differences between fast money and wealth building, and you should have a plan for both. But please hear this. Here's my whole point. I'm going to send this back to Jill. In both cases, in my opinion, my career-long opinion, it is imperative to learn how to buy undervalued assets on the front end. Mm-hmm. You never want to go out on a market and buy a house and rent it out. You want to implement the things that we teach at Land Academy to buy it undervalued, because you might have to get out of it. Right. Buy low and sell high has never been more important.
So I agree. I agree with everything you just said. So there, like you said, there's fast money and wealth building. I look at it like this. The big thing for me is fast money is I need to get to this certain level, then I relax and I work on the wealth building, if that makes sense.
And I agree with you. I mean, the truth is, here's the real straight truth about Jill and I personally. It's what Jill just said. We created the most wealth that we have.
Correct.
Through fast money deals.
Right. And we just put our heads down and just built up this crazy cash balance. That's what we did.
We're still plowing cash into our wealth.
True.
With each deal.
And then I think for you right now, wherever you are in your career and you're thinking about this, hopefully you have a number. Maybe it's 1 million, maybe it's 5 million. I don't know what it is, but hopefully you have that number where you hit that, and now you're going to start making some different decisions and then pivot to wealth building. Because what the long-term goal is then you're making money to hit these goals, and then you're going to have enough where the money's going to do the work for you. That, to me, is when you're in wealth building mode, and that's exciting. Where you're like, I don't have to do deals as fast. Now I have enough money, I can live off the interest. I can put it over here. I can collect this rent, live off of that. And how can I do that? Well, do like we always preach too. You pay for it. You're not financing things. You're not taking the triage and living off of that. You're doing you're buying an asset for cash, managing that a real low amount, and living off of the rent and building all that. Maybe it's 10 of them. Who cares? 10 rentals at $2,000 a month that you're netting. If you can't live off of that, we got to talk. Now you're wealth building.
You talk like this, it makes me want to kiss you on the lips.
I didn't think that was possible today. That's really nice.
You know what I told my kids? There's 4 stages of wealth. Number 1,
Good.
you're making more money than you're spending. Sounds stupid, but geez, we've probably all been there. If you haven't never been in a situation where there's $3,000 a month coming in and you spend 5, and I don't mean because you like scotch. I just mean your rent's too high or you met the wrong girl or something happened.
Lost a job.
You got to figure that out. So that's stage 1. You figured out how to make money, more money than you are spending.
Right.
A good rule of thumb for what I taught them, some of them paid attention, some of them didn't, was paycheck number 1 goes for expenses, paycheck number 2 goes into savings.
Each month when you have
Each month.
bi-weekly? Okay.
And then the little bit of money, you go have fun with it because you got to live. Number 2 is you're starting to save money. You're no longer, you're making more than you're spending, but you actually are now starting down the path of saving money. I don't know what that means to you. That might mean for a lot of people, it means a 401k. It never did for us. Or it might mean I'm taking the extra $30,000 a year that I made and I'm going to buy a piece of land and resell it. Start something on the side like that. That's stage 2. Stage 3 is you are doing that. The stage 3 is the thing that you started on the side, or the things that you started on the side where you're actually making more money than your job. So that's a good, I love stage 3. Stage 3 is when I'm a real person now. I do not have to work in this job. Maybe I'm on my way to paying off my mortgage or some version of that. And so that stage 3 has always been my favorite. Stage 4 is where Jill and I are now, and she just mentioned it. Your side business is now, it's been institutionalized, like Land Academy and like for us buying and selling land. And now you're plowing this money into your wealth. Mm-hmm. You want to get to stage 4, and you want to get it to it as fast as you can without jeopardizing risk. So a lot of startups are so risky and so overcapitalized, so silly, especially the ones out of Palo Alto, where there's so much available money, investment money in Palo Alto, that I see a lot of people in startups, young, smart people, just spinning their wheels because they have too much money, instead of really focusing on something that they mean something to them and just basic intelligent wealth building stuff.
Perfect.
Join us tomorrow where Jill and I discuss land investing lessons from other real estate sectors like houses, commercial real estate, and other types of property besides land. You are not alone in your real estate ambition.
We are Jack and Jill.
Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.
We hope you found our content valuable, and we appreciate your support. If you have not already, please check out our channel and hit the subscribe button.
And your comments and suggestions help us to create the content you're here for. Hitting the like button helps to support our channel's algorithm and gauge your interest for future shows.